Hey guys, how are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastically. Look, sorry it's been so long since my last video. I got tremendously sick for the past almost month long, just with a nasty flu. Picked something up from the plane on my way back from Japan, got better and then caught something else and it was just completely wiped me out. But let's make up for that because we've got a few videos that I'll be working on now. From here until, I don't know, a few weeks time, I'll try and put out a few over there. So, today what we're going to look at is all of the stuff, all of the Parappa related stuff that I bought while I was in Japan. Most of this was from the Tokyo Skytree, which is where the Parappa the Rapper cafe and gift shop was, which you can see in my previous video, where I gave you a little bit of a tour of everything that was there. So let's just jump into it. Let's have a look at everything that I brought back. So we'll start with what I actually got from that Parappa cafe. So while I was there, I went twice and I got two lots of different things. The first thing we bought that you'll see in the video were some dessert style treats that were in these cups. And the best part of it was that once you had finished it, you got to keep the cups and take them home. So there was a Parappa cup and a PJ Berry cup. So you'll see these in my, like I said, you'll see these in my last video, these are just great because they were cheap, and then you also got to take these home. So yeah, it's just character cups with the name of the character on the sides. That's all there really is to it. What I also wanted to show you though, once I was at the cafe, I tried to show a real quick snippet of this in the video, but it was hard to see what it was. Every time you bought something from that Parappa cafe, they will give you a box, and depending on how many items you bought, you were allowed to take a ball out of this box. And it was, you couldn't see what they were, and there were 4 different color balls. And depending on what color you brought out, you would get a sticker and with a rating like from the games. So the first time I pulled those balls out, we got yellow and blue. And they were the good and bad stickers. So 1 per purchase, as I said, so 1 for each cup. And the second time we went, we got a couple other ones that I have misplaced at the moment, but I think it was another bad and then a cool or something. I'll find that and put a picture up, or it might have even been in the last video. We'll have a look. So that was those. So I don't even know where to start, there's so much stuff. Let's go to this. While I was over there, I had to get the Japanese disc version of the remastered Parappa the Rapper. So I found that pretty easily. Pretty much every electronic store was selling that really cheap, the equivalent of about $20 Australian. And I will have you know that it's exactly the same as the English version, the digital version we've got. I hopped on there hoping that I might be able to get the Japanese Platinum trophy for it, but it's all the same. It's just one trophy list. So if you're a bit of a trophy collector like me, you don't need to import it just to get that. But yeah, obviously all the songs and everything are in English like they always were. And yeah, but it's good to have an actual retail physical copy of that. And along with that, I also, on one of my last days in Japan, because it had only just come out, bought the re-released version of the Parappa soundtrack. So that was from the original soundtrack, just re-released in stores. So yeah, that came out one of the very last days I was in Japan, so I was happy to pick that up just before I left. Okay, let's move on to other stuff from the Parappa gift store. So a lot of this stuff I had seen on the Rodney Fund website, but a lot of it didn't post outside of Japan. And that was why, when I've told you before, some of the things I bought from their eBay page, that's the only way you can get some of their stuff internationally, unless you really want to go through like a forwarding address from a post office or something. But that's a whole lot of work and extra money and everything like that. And so I was glad that when I got to the Parappa gift store, they actually had a lot of items that I had seen on that Rodney Fund website that I couldn't get. Obviously I couldn't buy everything, money and space on the way back, but one of the things I really did want to get was one of these little key rings of Parappa's shoe. So they had these, I think they might have had a couple in different colours as well. I think there might have been a yellow one and maybe a blue one. And they also had They also have much bigger versions that I think were like pencil cases or something. I really only wanted the little one, so yeah, got one of those. Little keyring. So moving on from there, they had a lot of stuff for the new Parappa PJ Berry anime that's playing in Japan at the moment. And a lot of that, so you'll notice, I think in some of my video when I gave the quick tour, that you'll see Parappa wearing a different outfit than what he did from the games. So in the new anime, Parappa has a job working for this bakery, I think it is, or a cafe. And so a lot of the stuff, yeah, he was wearing that outfit. So when I bought these three things, you'll see what I'm talking about. So these are little bottle caps that you can put on your drinks, I guess, to make them look cooler and save them from going flat. So there's Parappa, and as you can see there, let's just focus in on that. As you can see there, Parappa is wearing that other outfit I was talking about that he wears in the anime. So that's Parappa. You're not missing much on the back, just Japanese text there and how it works. Got Master Chop Chop there. And PJ Berry. So they were the three that you could buy, and they were really cheap, so I just picked them all up. Moving on. So next, we bought some of these little face towels. This one just has the different characters all over it in their different colours. So you've got Parappa, PJ Berry, Sunny Funny, and Master Chop there. Just a cool looking hand towel in different colours. And then these two ones I bought, I really like because they were individual character ones. There's your PJ Berry. But also because they actually had the Parappa the Rapper 20th anniversary logo on there. So bought those two as well. Again, a lot of this stuff was all just really cheap, especially if you compare it to what it would cost you to import it outside of Japan. Next, I bought this little box of, there's some sort of candies, and it's got the artwork from the Parappa comic books that they released. So inside, there's the little treats in there, and then just some -1. And then there's just some more artwork in there. I don't actually know what these are. Chocolate Crunch. We won't open one right now. Okay, next there's this. This is a little tiny PJ Berry tote bag. Still just plastic obviously, but you're not missing much. It's just got a handle. So the deal with this, on the video again that I posted of the tour of the store and the cafe, you'll see me throwing, there was a huge PJ Berry plush. It almost looked like it was a bouncy castle or something like that. So what that was this little game. It was basically like a ring toss sort of game where you paid 500 yen and you'd get, I think it was maybe 6 plush donuts. And there was a little hole where PJ Berry's mouth was. And you'd have to stand at a certain spot far back and try and flick the donuts to fall into PJ Berry's mouth. Now the thing with that was, either I'm just horrible at life and was just terrible at it, or it actually was a little bit harder than it looked, because you'd throw it and it would just bounce off or whatever. You see in the video, you see me doing it towards the end of that video. In any case, if you got any of them in, your prize was this little tote bag. If you got them all in, you would get a, it was like a pillow plush of PJ Berry. I really wanted that, and I really wanted to go back and have another go, but I just remembered how deceptively hard it was, so I thought I'd save my money on it. But it was good to at least get this and say that I did it and have video of what it was. So that is the story behind that. Okay, next. There were these, and I really wanted these because they are just, the material on them and how they look is really cool. These were 2 little plushes they had in the store as well. One of PJ Berry, one of Parappa. And they're sort of a little bit different from any of the other plushes I've seen, just because you can see on the eyes, you can see where they've sort of got the stitching, and the same with Parappa. And I don't think any of the other plushes really have that sort of detail. but they're really well made. They're really great material. Again, super cheap, and so picked up one of those each. Now that sort of brings me to my last item. Now, as soon as I had seen this and I had seen pictures of these online, I wanted to get one. The first time we went to the gift shop at the Skytree, I saw them and said, I want that, but I'm not going to get that because I didn't know how I'd get it home on the plane, and it was a bit more expensive than all the other stuff. So basically, what I decided we would do is, if at the end of the trip we had time and any money left over and space and things like that, we'd go back to the Skytree, see if they were still there, and grab one. Luckily, when we did go back, there were some left, but there weren't many, and the store had significantly shrunk because it was the last, I think, 2 days. So I think the last day of the Parappa Cafe and gift store was the 31st of May, and we were coming home on the 30th. So I think we went there on the 29th of May. So it was the last couple days of it. So they'd sold out of a lot of stuff and just minimized everything. But there was this left. I did have enough money for one, and we figured we'd just take it as carry-on. So that is this giant Parappa plush. So they had one of these and a giant PJ Berry. I would have loved to have had both of them, but again, they were a bit more expensive, and it's huge. It's freaking huge. So this will be a great, I just really want this because aside from the fact that it's just Parappa, and obviously I collect a lot of the Parappa stuff, I think it'll just be great to have in the games room, seated on the couch, just as a bit of a corner piece. So that was the last thing I really wanted to get him, and I'm really glad that I was able to pick him up. You know, it was more expensive than the other things, but it wasn't so expensive. It was the equivalent of about 60 or 70 Australian dollars. It was really not that expensive when you would compare it to the price of things here. A big plush like this, you know, you go to some stores, it would be a couple of $100. Things here are so overpriced. And it's also one of those things that I think really, if you ever do come across it, it'll be one of those things that will just cost you so much to post back to where you are. Or at least shipping to Australia, it costs a fortune. So I was really happy to be able to pick that up in person and bring it home. And so yeah, that was all of the Parappa stuff that I brought home. It felt like a whole lot, and I'm really glad to have expanded the collection so much more because of all of that. It was a fantastic experience being able to go back to Japan again, but then also being able to go back in that time frame when the Parappa Cafe and gift shop were open. Obviously, a lot of guys that you guys that wanted to go there can't. It's a real shame. I really do feel sorry for you, but hopefully through some of the stuff that I've shown you, you get a little bit of an insight of it. I had seen some people posting photos of quick trips here and there. There's a few videos online of things of people sort of trying the food and things like that, but hopefully this is a bit more in-depth, and you get to see exactly what they had on sale and you know, for the offer there. It was really great. There are a couple things I wish that I bought that were a bit more expensive. There was a really great PJ Berry plush set, but that was something like $120 or something, and that was just a bit too much. But you know, I'm really happy with what I could bring back, and I'm grateful for it. So let's leave it there. Me and my Parappa here, gonna go find some room for him somewhere. I don't know. You look after yourself. Thank you again for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hang out, leave some comments. I love chatting to you guys as always. Anyway, you look after yourself, and we'll talk soon. See you later.